I've listened to like 6 interviews where they have butchered your name. I just want to make sure it's Dourdan.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'll do.
Yeah, because every interviewer butchers your name, and I listened to like 6 of them, and I'm like, I'm not going to
That's
be one
why
of these
I
guys.
originally changed it, because my birth name is Dourdan, but you can't even imagine what they were saying. So Dourdan, whatever. So I changed it years ago when I was a teenager to Dourdan to be more phonetically easier to pronounce, and they still butcher that, but it's okay.
It happens.
I just say Michael Jordan with a B.
Yeah, that's what my producer said. Today we have actor, singer, musician, and horse serenader, because I actually watched that video.
I see that.
Gary Dourdan.
How are you?
Now, the problem with social media is every time I do a deep dive into a guest, I get the weirdest things. And the other day, the hottest video you have right now is you actually serenading a horse.
Yes. I was talked into it by the horse.
So the question is that your horse, or you just happen to be hanging out at a farm?
No, she's not my horse. I have a friend for many years who actually was a friend who helped me get sober. Her name is Claire, and she rescues horses, and that is her calling in life. And I've met a lot of other actors through her as well. She used to run one of the group meetings that we used to go to, but she, in her day job, was rescuing horses, primarily from the American government. They round up wild Mustangs and they put them in kill pens. And so she does her due diligence with a team of people. She's raised money. She has some land in Oregon. She has some land in California. And she rescues these horses at the either from being rounded up in kill pens, or people who can't care for them anymore. And they've gone over that stage in life where they're just out to pasture, and she gives them an opportunity to just graze and deal with all the pains and the aches that go on from being misused and mistreated and overworked. So I go and visit her, and I was at some point I was feeding the horses and caring for them, which is not easy work. People have glorified the cowboy, but boy, that ain't easy work. You know, you're up before dawn and you're shoveling a lot of crap, you know. But it is very fulfilling because the energy from these beautiful, beautiful beings is bar none. Very healing energy. So it was a cyclical healing thing that we were doing. And I found it's been a difficult last year. It's just a lot of emotional things going on, a lot of things in the world happening. And I didn't realize that it was affecting me to the extent that it was. So spending time with her and these magnificent beings was very healing for me. But she also was able to let me know that it was helping the horses if I came to play music for them, which I used to do years ago, but I hadn't done in such a long time. And you could see from the video that it was a good experience for the horses as well.
Before we get into talking about The Lost Princess, which is your newest project, friendships are difficult. And you just mentioned this woman. I find out when things are tough in my life, I get to really know who the friends are in my life, who the people who really matter to me and who weren't just there during the good times. And I know you've gone through a little bit, how important it is for you to remind those people how important they were to you.
It's really important. I think you said it right there. My father would call them fair weather friends, of course. And, they're around where everything's going good and everything is fun and the weather is fair. But the minute that you hit some challenges and some difficulty, they disappear on you. The people that I know them, I can count them on my fingers, that had either stayed tried and true or who revealed themselves to understand whatever difficulty that I was going through and to be there for me are solid, true blue people in my life, and they still maintain to be so. And I'm very, very grateful. I feel that I'm full of abundance because of people like this. It's also taught me a lot about how to be towards people and to not judge whatever someone's going through, and to always be that kind of person. I aspire to be that kind of person in people's lives because everyone is going through something, you know.
Yeah, I get it. I think it's the problem I've had is a lot of people come to me for help, and mental health has become such a tragic thing over the last 10 years. And I don't, it's like, it's just like an avalanche of it. And
Yes.
I've lost a lot of good people that I couldn't help. You'll be with somebody for weeks and weeks and weeks, and that one day you're not there, or you don't speak with them. The next day you get that call. And watching somebody like you go up and down that mountain as many times as you have has to be an inspiration to a lot of people out there who might be suffering and who might go, "Hey, listen, it's not over. I can get over this."
I hope so. I really do. I certainly hope so. Every now and then I'll hear from someone, they say stuff like, I was praying for you. But I think every now and then I also hear from people who go, you inspire me because I'm going through this. Hey, I'm 20 days sober. Hey, and I reach out to them immediately. I hope that I have that is an inspiration for them, and that they can see through whatever journeys that I've been on, that it's not impossible, that one day will be different the next day. It's always going to be different. What you're going through right now, it too shall pass. And I certainly believe that to be true. And I certainly hope that people can look at my journey, and if they're going through a tough time, go, you know what, he got through something. So I think I'll be all right. If he could do it, I could do it too.
Yeah.
And I certainly hope that's a factor in my life. If anything, uh, I do as much as I can with trying to be vocal with people, and just put it in a matter of fact terms, because the people that we may believe are perfect, the people that we may turn on these devices and TV channels, and we say, oh, the person just looks like, not all of the times they are.
Yeah.
Everyone's going through something. And we may find out they're going through a tremendous amount of challenges. They just are really good at presenting their life in such a way. But everyone's going through something. We're all human beings. We're all just spiritual beings in this human experience, right?
I think people get caught up. They mistake who you are for who you are. They see a character you play on television or in a movie, and they automatically assume, oh, that's who he is. And they don't realize, listen, I'm not this character. I'm a regular person who has regular issues and regular this. And it's just so tough when you see things like that happen and people judge people on these levels, and they don't even get it. They have no clue what it's like. And while you are ridiculously fortunate, it doesn't mean you don't suffer the same emotional issues that regular people do.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of that, what you just said. There's also, I've gone through whatever I've gone through, and I've heard from people, even in my own family, who go, oh, listen, you'll be all right. Listen, you asked for this when you got into the arts, when you got into the business, to have this level of notoriety or to have this level of fame. It's part of it. You asked for to become a star. And a lot of people don't realize that's not what you may have gone after this art form to do. You didn't get into it to just become a star. Now, maybe it's different because you have a lot of Instagram influencers, people who just want to be stars. But when I got into the craft, I got into the craft of it, and to wanted to get into the arts. The fame and the notoriety was something that came later, but I don't think I was ready for it. And I don't think a lot of people are ready for it. There's no prep club. There's no blueprint. There aren't people. There could be an acting coach. You have a good manager, but no one is prepping you for what happens to the level of notoriety and fame, and how your life changes and how your privacy is non-existent. No one prepares you for being followed by paparazzi or people digging up the dirt about you and trying to present it and kind of gutting you. And no one gives you advice on how to deal with being violated publicly. These are things you have to learn as you go along. And even your top biggest giant stars, your Bragelinas and the top 5% stars have to deal with that. But they are human beings too, and a lot of people don't take that into account. That they actually have feelings. They actually have to go through a level of therapy. They actually have to take times that they're cutting a great deal of people off. They're going silent. They're having retreats. They're doing all sorts of things to deal with this level of fame and notoriety and maybe even success. Now, a lot of them have the cachet that they can do that very comfortably. But there's a lot of actors, there's a lot of musicians who don't have that kind of financial security, who go to the grocery store just like you and I do, who have to put gas in their car just like, anyone else. And it's that part that people have a hard time separating, is the person that's doing a job and the person that's an excellent person. So what happens with me is I'll go through the airports, I go through a gas station, I'll go to a mall or go shopping, and people will say something and they'll be a certain way. And then I have to remind them the only way to do that is just going, hey, how you doing? What's your name? And then all of a sudden people go, what? Me? My name? And then all of a sudden the dichotomy of the exchange changes and they realize that they're actually in a conversation. And it does something, it breaks the objectification. You're not an object anymore. You're a human being. We're having a conversation now. And that's what is key. It's like us still being human. We're still human. How you doing, man? How's your day going? What'd you do today? Where you from? Those kinds of things. And that's the New Yorker in me. That's a good thing. And those are the people that I was taught from as well. The people I admire the most, the Lawrence Fishburnes, the Jim Carreys, the Bill Murrays. Those are the people who are real. They're real deal. The people who are fake Hollywood, I don't hang with them. I very rarely hang with actors. I find them to be a bad soup between insecurity and tremendous ego. It's a bad combination,
It happens. I think people get caught up. Caught up in their fame. I happened to watch a trailer that you did called The Lost Princess, of the new movie you have coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching it and I'm going, God, it's amazing what we can do now. We can shift in and out of history seamlessly in things. And, you're in this new movie. How do they even approach you with this movie? Do they go, hey, listen, we have this great part for you?
Well, this is the third film I've done with Hitcham Hajiz. He's a Moroccan director. I love working with foreign directors because they're coming with a whole new set of storytelling. The film was written by Jean Camus, who's not relation to the famous philosopher and novelist Camus, but he's French nonetheless. And we had done a film some years ago called Redemption Day, which was kind of a storyline off the Taken trilogies. It was similar to that. I play an ex-vet. But this film, it was easy to say yes to because, first of all, I love Morocco, and we're going back to Morocco to shoot. It's a romantic, swashbuckling love story, which I haven't done a lot of.
No, you haven't.
So there you go with that. And then I play a pianist who's a pianist in a famous hotel bar there. And so it pushed me to deal with the other dimensions of a character, and also dimensions for myself as an actor to take on some more studying with piano, which I adore piano, but I'm a guitarist really. So for me, it was a no-brainer. Honestly, I said, I can eat Moroccan food for the whole time and I can play piano. I mean, when do we start shooting,
You're paying me to do this? Yeah.
And the women that I'm working around, Soraya Bragg, who's playing the princess, who I fall in love with, is an absolute dream to work with. And the actress playing my daughter, she was super, super sweet as well. And I just had a fantastic time filming this movie. And I hope for more. Maybe there's a sequel coming up. I'm not sure.
It happens, man. Who knows? If it picks up, they put it on the Hallmark Channel. You can it'll last forever.
Yes, it's true.
Every once in a while in the interview, I ask the selfish question. I have a daughter in college trying to get, become an actor and everything else. And I try to tell her the bad things, but, she isn't going to listen to her father. And as somebody who's gone through the process, what do you think the toughest thing about the industry is, or just surviving in it?
First, I have to pose the questions of what reasons that they want to get into the industry. Do they want to be a star, like we were talking about before, or do they enjoy the craft? If they want to get into the craft and the acting, then I urge them to read the plays. It's in the material, it's in the work. And there's so many great, great playwrights, Sam Shepard, August Wilson. There's just loads of them. Then you have the classics. If you really want to get into acting, then you have to get into the material. You have to immerse yourself in the material and into the characters. And then you have to get with other actors and read the material. And that these other actors, like I remember seeing a Q&A with Sam Rockwell, and he was saying that even when he's not working on a film or a play, he's getting together with other actors and they're reading material. And they're imagining other things to just keep the instrument going. Now, if she really wants to be an actor, or the people that are asking me really want to be an actor, they will do that. If they want to be a star, that's something different. I can't give them much advice on how to be a star, but I can definitely say that these days is a lot easier than when I was coming about in New York, kicking around, going to acting school. You have more resources at your disposal than any time in history. You can make a whole movie with an iPhone. Steven Soderbergh's done it.
Yeah.
The director in England that did 28 Days Later, they just shot the sequel in one of the iPhones. You have more resources at your reach that you can shoot a whole movie and edit it in your computer and your laptop than we had when I was coming out. I remember running into Robert De Niro in the street, walking down the street, and I asked advice from him because I was going to Strasbourg at the time, and he was like, "Gary, you got showbiz and backstage. Just get those papers and mail your headshot out to every casting agent, every director, and just keep on doing that. And over time, it's just the numbers, man. It's something that'll break through for you." That was his advice to me. That was the only thing we had at that time. But these days, you have to have an imagination, and your imagination is going to be the difference with you being successful or you being having a longevity in the career that you're choosing. If it's a director, if it's a writer, if it's an actor, but your imagination is going to be everything, because you can imagine how you're going to be presented in this industry, and you can shoot it, and you can write it, and you can direct it. So it's a completely different game than it ever has been. And I urge people to take charge and to take a hold of their own narrative and their own story and their own brand, and present themselves the way that they wish to be seen, and not expect, as an actress, most especially as an actress, to present herself the way that she wants to be taken and the way she wants to be. Never imagine and never just think that people are going to accept you the way you want to be accepted. You have to do the work. You have to do the work, especially as an actress, because they're going to use you and you're not going to be happy with the results. So if you're talking to your daughter, tell her that. Tell her she needs to take charge and take responsibility with the way that she wishes to be perceived, because the industry is going to perceive her the way that they want to perceive her. And it may not align with the way that she wants to be perceived.
Well, I can't thank you enough, Gary. You have been an inspiration. You've just seen your journey has, I'm sure, made such an effect on so many people. And I wish you just the best of luck. And I wish you, to keep hitting that mountain every time you want it, man. So I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for your kind words. That means a lot to me.